There's a cruel joke about money that no one tells you until it's too late. And it is that if you don't have enough money, it controls your life. And if you have too much, it can do the same. For most of us, money starts as a solution, a way to escape stress, a way to buy comforts, to create options. But beyond a certain point, money can turn into a trap. Not because it's bad, but because it can quietly shift from being a tool to an obsession. Today, let's talk about the illusion of enough, the hedonic treadmill, and why some of the wealthiest people in the world, despite having everything, keep chasing something that never arrives. You see, we are sold this idea from childhood that we need to study hard, work smart, climb the ladder, and one day we'll have enough money to be free. Free from all the stresses of life, free from all the obligations, and free from anything that feels like work. But what happens when you reach that point and you still feel empty? You know what the problem is? It is that enough is an illusion. Ask someone making 50,000 rupees a month what number would make them truly happy, and they might say 100,000 rupees a month. Ask someone making 100,000 rupees a month, and they'll say 500,000 rupees a month. And when you push that further, you'll hear figures like 1 crore a month, or 5 crore, or even 10 crore. And it just never ends. What is worse, it is that in today's world, we live in an era where wealth is no longer just private. It's performative. People are openly flaunting their incomes and net worths on social media, and that leads to a dangerous cycle. No matter how much you have, there's always someone who has more, someone who makes you feel like you're behind. And so the finish line keeps moving. Now, have you ever wondered why some of the wealthiest people in the world, people who are billionaires, who are celebrities or top entrepreneurs, they never stop working? Of course, some do it for passion, but many keep going because the game never feels like it's over. Just take a moment and think, if money alone could buy happiness, wouldn't the richest people be the most joyful? Instead, many of them are restless, they're anxious, they're chasing bigger houses, grander vacations, more extravagant weddings. But every milestone feels just like the last one. It's a hedonic treadmill at its finest. Now, please don't get me wrong. Money means freedom. It gives you security, it gives you options and power. But beyond a certain point, money can start to isolate you. It can create distance between you and the real world. I've seen it firsthand, how wealth, instead of bringing people together, builds invisible walls. And some of those walls last for generations. Another way money becomes a trap is when it removes struggle. And you might think, well, isn't that a good thing? No struggle in life? In my view, not always. Because struggle is what gives achievements meaning. If you can buy your way out of every inconvenience, life becomes easier, of course, but not necessarily richer. And this is my biggest worry about the whole idea of building generational wealth. Too much of it can leave the next generation with financial richness, but also a poverty of imagination, of courage, and enterprise. Maybe it's why so many second and third generation entrepreneurs struggle. The hunger and the drive is not the same when you never had to fight for it. And here's one last trap of money. When you work only for money, what happens when you don't need to work anymore? What gets you out of bed every morning? This is why some people, even after financial success, feel lost. They don't know what to do next. And so they keep chasing numbers, hoping that somewhere along the way, happiness will catch them. But it rarely happens. Now the question is, what's the way out of this money trap? I think the first step is to redefine wealth beyond money. Real wealth is not just financial, it's health, it's relationships, freedom, and of course, purpose. Money is just a tool. It should never be the goal. The second step, try to find meaning beyond accumulation. If the only reason you're working is to make more money and to tell people about that, you'll never know when to stop. So build something meaningful, work on something that matters, something that's worth doing, even if money was not a factor. And the third step, embrace your financial limitations and constraints. I say this because some of the happiest moments in life come from not having everything at your fingertips. Just think back to your childhood in the 1990s, and especially if you grew up in India, when having a single bicycle in the neighborhood meant every child took turns riding it. When birthdays meant homemade cake and new comic book, when ice cream was a special outing and not a daily or a weekly indulgence. We did not have everything, but we had enough. And somehow that made everything more so special. So, if there's one lesson I want you to take from today's episode, it is this: money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. You'll spend years thinking about how to build, how to protect, and how to grow your wealth. But please don't forget to ask yourself, what is it all for? Because if you don't define enough for yourself, the world will do it for you. And the answer will always be more and more and more. And the real winners know when to stop. They know when to step up the hedonic treadmill and start living. Remember that your greatest investment won't just be in stocks or businesses or real estate, it will be in the life you build beyond money. Thanks for tuning into the Inner Game podcast. If you found this valuable, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're looking for deeper insights on wealth, wisdom, and the pursuit of meaning, please check out my new book, Boundless, which is a collection of 52 timeless lessons to help you live a life that truly matters. Until next time, stay curious, stay mindful, and invest not just in money, but in a life well lived. Thank you so much.